Somewhere right now, a person is in agony from a hand they no longer have. The hand was amputated months ago. The wound healed. The arm ends cleanly at the wrist. And yet the pain is there, specific, located, undeniable. Not in the stump, in the hand, in fingers that no longer exist. The pain reports precisely. It burns, it cramps, it aches in exact places. The brain receives the signal and processes it as real. Because it is real. The pain is not imagined. It is experienced the way all pain is experienced. As a fact, as something that is simply happening, as something that cannot be argued with. Which raises a question that changes everything you think you know about your own body. If the pain is real, and the hand is gone, where is the pain coming from? The way most people understand pain is straightforward. Something damages your tissue. Nerve fibers carry a signal to the spinal cord. The signal travels to the brain. The brain registers pain. The system works like a fire alarm. The alarm sounds when there is fire and stops when the fire is out. This model matches the way pain feels, like information, like a report from the body about something that has gone wrong. It is also wrong in ways that turn out to matter enormously. Pain researchers have known for decades that the relationship between tissue damage and pain is far less reliable than anyone assumed. People with catastrophic injuries sometimes feel nothing. People with no detectable tissue damage sometimes feel unbearable pain. The same physical stimulus produces radically different pain in different contexts. Surgery patients who believe their operation succeeded recover faster and with less pain than those who doubt it. Placebos routinely perform as well as morphine in controlled trials. What this evidence points to is a different model entirely. Pain is not a signal that travels from your body to your brain. It is something your brain constructs, an output, not an input. And the construction depends on something that has nothing to do with the physical state of your tissue. It depends on how dangerous your brain thinks you are. Henry Beecher was a physician who served with the United States Army in World War II, and what he observed in field hospitals changed how he thought about pain for the rest of his life. Soldiers arrived with severe, sometimes catastrophic wounds, shattered bones, deep tissue damage, injuries that would have been considered serious by any clinical standard. Beecher would ask them directly, "Are you in pain? Do you need something for it?" 3 out of 4 said no. Not that they were managing, not that they were being stoic. They genuinely did not want pain medication. They did not report their injuries as particularly painful. Some described relief. Beecher published his observations in JAMA in 1956, comparing these soldiers to civilian patients he had treated, patients whose surgical injuries were objectively less severe than battle wounds. The civilians reported dramatically more pain. They required significantly more morphine. The difference, Beecher concluded, was not in the wounds. It was in the meaning of the wounds. For the soldier, a wound meant survival, evacuation from the front, a return home, the end of mortal danger. The injury was, in a terrible way, good news. For the civilian, the same physical damage meant vulnerability, uncertainty, disrupted life. The wound was only bad news. The meaning of an injury, independent of its physical severity, changed how much pain it produced. Your brain is not passively receiving pain. It is evaluating the situation and deciding, in real time, how much pain is the right response to what is happening. But if the brain evaluates meaning and context to construct pain, how quickly does that evaluation happen? And how much can context actually change what you feel? In 2007, Lorimer Moseley at Oxford University and Arnoud Arntz at Maastricht University published a study in the journal Pain that measured this with unusual precision. They applied the same stimulus, a rod cooled to -20 degrees Celsius, held against participants' hands for half a second, across multiple trials. The physical stimulus was identical every time. The only thing that changed was a colored light that appeared alongside it. When the light was red, the color associated with heat, danger, and tissue damage, participants rated the stimulus as hotter, more intense, and significantly more painful. When the light was blue, associated with cold, neutrality, lower threat, participants rated the exact same contact as cooler, less intense, and significantly less painful. Same nerve fibers, same tissue, same duration, same temperature, different color. different pain. The brain had already assessed the threat level before it finished processing the physical sensation. The color, a piece of context with no physical connection to the stimulus, changed the experience before the experience was complete. Moseley and Arntz concluded that pain is not a readout of tissue damage. It is a protective output generated by the brain based on its best assessment of what is threatening the body. Change what the brain believes about the threat and you change the pain, even when the physical input is unchanged. Your pain level has never simply been a report on the state of your body. It has been your brain's estimate of how much danger you are in, delivered as something you cannot ignore. Think about every time you have been in pain. Not abstractly, specifically. The last headache that arrived halfway through a difficult day. The injury that felt minor until you saw the blood. The thing that was almost unbearable at midnight and somehow less urgent by morning. The pain that intensified the moment you were afraid and receded slightly when someone you trusted told you it would be all right. Your brain was constructing each of those pains in real time. It was taking incoming signals, combining them with what it understood about the context, the threat, the meaning, and producing a sensation calibrated to get you to act. Not a passive readout, a decision. This is not the same as saying the pain was not real. It was completely real. The construction does not make it less real. In some ways, it makes it more profound. Your brain built it for you in that moment, from everything it understood about how dangerous your situation was. Which means that the most undeniable thing you have ever felt, the experience most resistant to argument, most impossible to dismiss, was made. Your nervous system has been doing this your entire life. Every pain was an attempt to protect you. Every signal was your brain trying to get you to pay attention to something it believed mattered. The fire alarm was never just reporting a fire. It was deciding whether the fire was worth your attention. There is one demonstration that makes all of this impossible to dismiss, and it requires a cardboard box and a mirror. In 1996, V.S. Ramachandran and Diane Rogers Ramachandran at the University of California, San Diego published a paper in the Proceedings of the Royal Society describing an intervention for phantom limb pain, the excruciating treatment-resistant pain that can persist for years in people who have lost a limb. The pain had not responded to drugs. It had not responded to surgery. There was, after all, no limb to treat. The brain was constructing the pain from incomplete information. It had lost its sensory input from the arm, and in the absence of any signal, it was generating its own. Ramachandran's device was this: a cardboard box with a mirror mounted vertically inside, 2 holes in the front. The patient placed the intact arm through one hole. Looking into the box, the mirror reflection of the intact hand appeared in the space where the phantom should have been. The patient moved the intact hand. They saw both hands move. The brain received visual information it had not had in months or years. The missing limb is present, and it is moving freely without pain. In several patients, the phantom pain disappeared, not temporarily but permanently. A hand that had been clenched in a painful cramp for years could finally, in the mirror, open. And when it opened in the mirror, the phantom cramp released. A reflection in glass overrode years of pain from a hand that did not exist. The brain had been building the wrong thing. The moment it received new information, it stopped. Pain is the most honest thing your body has ever told you. Or so it feels. Feels like fact. Like the one thing you cannot argue with, cannot reinterpret, cannot explain away. It is happening. It is real. Nothing about it is optional. And it was built, assembled in real time from signals and context and threat assessments and your brain's best available guess about what was needed to make you act. It was built for you, to protect you, because something in you, something older than language, older than thought, decided that what was happening was dangerous enough that you needed to know right now. Every pain you have ever had was your nervous system trying to keep you alive. It was wrong sometimes. It overcorrected, catastrophized, fired when nothing was broken. But it was always, in its way, trying. Your body has been protecting you since before you knew it needed to.